February 26th, Saturday.
Good work out there.
Yeah, I'm back now.
Are you at home already?
No, I just left the station. It's going to be late by the time I get home.
You're right. I can hear the sound of the train.
That? I'm taking the last train of the day right now.
I must applaud you for being able to work until so late.
It's actually pretty easy for me, considering I get to go home by the last train. I usually have to take the first train home on Sunday morning.
As always, your workplace seems quite merciless. It must be really tough working for a publishing company.
It's tough, but it really is worth it. I even get a bit of authority that regular part-timers don't get right now.
Speaking of which, I heard you were entrusted to write an article.
I'm sorry.
About what?
It's been a while, Setsuna.
Yeah, Haruki-kun.
It's been a month since I've had a conversation with Setsuna. Though I'd forgotten about that fact due to how natural our conversation was. I'd mustered whatever little courage that I had left in me to send Setsuna a simple, concise text, only conveying my current circumstances. She seemed rather unsatisfied with how blunt my text was, however, and she immediately replied to me with a concise text of her own, as if she wanted to get back at me.
Can I call you now?
In the end, in order to respond to that text, I once again mustered the last of whatever remains of my courage and pressed the call button.
Really? So, Kaiosha has agreed to hire you?
No, it's not like that at all. I just got a recommendation from my current superior. In the end, I managed to accomplish my true goal of contacting Setsuna by the very first minute of our conversation.
But that's still really amazing. After all, that means your colleagues approve of you, right? That's as good as a job offer.
I wouldn't say I've gotten that far yet. No, I suppose I do feel that I've made a good start. However, that's all the more reason why neither of us will be satisfied with the conversation ending with "see you then."
If I remember correctly, your superior's brilliant. You mentioned that she was the most successful woman among the younger people working there, right?
Well, in any case, as long as I'm working under her, I need to make sure not to let her down. That's why I engage in momentary idle chatter, riding on our promise that we'd be talking until I get home.
Do you get it now? That basically means they've offered to hire you, right?
I suppose you're right. This is a really nonsensical conversation. We've talked about advancing to the next grade, our exams, about my part-time jobs, and our thesis. And now we're talking about how I'm looking to get officially employed.
I see you're confident as always at times like these.
I'm still maintaining my good grades and have ample experience with part-time jobs in social experience. And I've also been attending seminars about business communication. Setsuna seems just as excited as I was when Mari-san told me about the prospects of my future earlier.
Don't you think you're counting your chickens before they hatch?
What's wrong with getting full of myself? At least, there shouldn't be any issues if you're using it to motivate yourself. Specifically in a way that's different from keeping yourself physically driven. Naturally, my footsteps have slowed, and it's 15 minutes since I've started my usual 5-minute walk back to my apartment. Moreover, I've gone out of my way to go around a nearby park because I just didn't want our conversation to end so soon.
Is that so? I already knew it, but you really are amazing, Haruki-kun. I haven't even thought about what I should do after I graduate yet.
It's not necessarily a good thing to try and decide as soon as possible. I think it's fine if you use the time you have to think about it carefully, Setsuna. I imagine Setsuna has already realized this. She's realized that I'm breaking my promise and intentionally prolonging our conversation without sparing any time I have at my disposal. Even so, she pretends to be completely unaware and does whatever she can to continue this meaningless conversation with me, such that we've been talking for almost 30 minutes now.
I'll lose when I run out of time.
I'm sure you'll be fine, Setsuna. You'll definitely find your own path after thinking about it properly. I guarantee it. Nevertheless, as much as time can flow without ceasing, there are limits as to how many detours I can opt for.
Congratulations! Well, it might be a little early for that. Anyway, do your best, Haruki-kun.
Thank you. And then,
What is it?
I'm home.
Is that so?
Sorry for keeping you up this late.
We made a promise when we first started to talk. We said we'd kill time together until you got home, Haruki-kun.
I suppose we did.
Yeah.
Well,
Good night.
good night.
Ogaso-san?
Yeah, the other person who I have to talk to no matter what had appeared before me, her expression as fickle as ever.
Someone seems quite brazen today. And here I thought you'd get flustered the moment I found you out.
Not really. There's nothing to hide at this point. I can even tell her that you're here, Chiaki.
So, you two completely made up with each other.
What are you doing here today?
Aren't you the one who wanted to say something to me?
Even though you ignored all those texts I sent you?
Not really.
What do you mean, not really? That's not an answer. While I'm at it, she also appears to be sulking. How long have you been waiting?
For 30 seconds?
Don't lie to me.
Don't touch me.
I touch her cheek gently to discover that it's cold. So cold that she couldn't possibly have been waiting here for just a few moments. You must be freezing. Hurry up and come in then. I'll run a hot bath immediately.
Oh? So you're not going to tell me to hurry on home?
Someone seems to be unusually steamed up today.
Not really.
Chiaki is maintaining the persona of an abandoned cat that she portrayed during our previous meeting. Though she's not leaping into my embrace immediately, unlike the last time. Come on, let's go. I'm getting cold. What if you catch a cold? Don't you have a play soon?
That's not really something you should be worrying about right now, Haruki.
What in the world is up with you today?
How will you take responsibility if I end up with a miscarriage?
Oh, get up already. We really should get going. What are you trying to do? Going out of your way to come over to my place and then refusing to budge after that? She really is a fickle person. Oh, stop it! You'll disturb the neighbors. As I thought, she really was feeling so cold that she obediently disappeared into the bathroom the moment I finished running the bath for her. She even went as far as to ask me to take her clothes off. And the moment she finally settled into the bath, she goes back to not acting her age again. Oh, I suppose it's only typical of Chiaki to be acting like this. Even so, Chiaki is definitely acting more selfish than ever today. She was pouting strangely at first, and she almost seemed like she was ready to pick a fight with me. Perhaps her preparation for her upcoming public performance is taking a toll on her? I can't imagine that. Or could it be that she's playing a role that she hasn't shown me before today? You didn't even say itadakimasu. You ungrateful girl.
Soy sauce?
You should eat more lightly at this hour. Deal with it.
You did add a bit of oil, though.
Don't eat it if you don't like it. Cat's got your tongue, huh? Up. Here, tea.
I didn't choke.
Then, does it really taste bad?
It's not that either. It's just that I haven't eaten in a while. It's fine. I'm fine now.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Chiaki finally slowed the pace of her eating, such that I can hear the faint crunching sound of her chewing her cabbage. How hungry was she for her to actually eat like that? As usual, you're not eating properly, are you?
That's because the play is the day after tomorrow.
That's all the more reason you should be taking care of your nutrition. Also, have you been sleeping properly?
The day after tomorrow is...
Yeah, I get it. Sleep here for today. I'll wake you up so you can make it in time for rehearsal.
Rehearsal is actually going on right now, even through the night.
What?
I imagine everyone is panicking right now. I might even get replaced as the lead actress.
As she said that, her expression didn't change. The scripter and leading actress of Watto's didn't seem like she thought about the worst possible outcome. If things are really serious for you right now, why did you even go out of your way to come here?
Why, you ask?
Didn't you say the script completion was delayed? Isn't that exactly why everyone is pulling an all-nighter and trying to make up for lost time?
Well, it's always the same during times like this.
Then the main character shouldn't be slacking off either. Watto's wouldn't exist without you, right? Don't you have a tremendous role to play in the troupe? Well, without me, the as good as third rate. So, someone who's first rate like yourself has the right to be selfish even after you've caused so much trouble for everyone?
For you to worry about things like that, Haruki, you do know what the play is about, right?
That has nothing to do with this. It's just that I'm getting impatient watching someone who's not taking responsibility for something she has the ability to do.
You're such a difficult person, you know that?
Hush. To think Chiaki, of all people, thinks I'm difficult to deal with. Oh, even I think there is some truth to that.
I'll go back soon. It should be fine if it's just 2 hours.
Haven't you already wasted those 2 hours on waiting for me to get back?
It's really no big deal. It's just that I got a little something.
A little something? What do you mean? Huh?
Uh-huh.
Chiaki? Alright. Huh?
I had a reason in mind, but I brushed it off because it was too cliche. Give me a moment. I'll think this through again.
Oh, you. She changes her expression one after another, from being troubled, inspired, surprised, bewildered, irritated, to being disgruntled, as if she's practicing her acting skills. In the end, she said some ambiguous things that have nothing to do with the situation at all.
Alright. Let's go with this.
What do you mean, let's go with this? After that, she repeats her cycle of unusually jittery behavior again, feeling irritated, bashful, disgusted, in denial, and then inspired yet again.
Here, tickets.
In the end, she took out an envelope from her bag.
I haven't given these to you, right? How many do you want? I can probably give you around 5 or so.
You want me to come watch it? She wants me to bear witness to the story in which I betrayed someone important to me and caused everyone to suffer? She wants me to relive the miserable tale engraved in my memory of how I got involved with Setsuna and Kazusa 3 years ago?
A normal troupe would allocate tickets across the members. I'd say about 20 per person, but things are different from where I'm from. It was hard to get a hold of these for myself.
That's not what I'm talking about.
I thought it'd be irresponsible that I didn't come to your place before I went on the big stage.
As I thought, nothing about her has changed.
The script came out very nicely. At the very least, I think everything related to your character is perfect, Haruki.
She knows full well how the others feel, but she's not interested in acting appropriately based on that knowledge. Even though she excels at moving and mesmerizing audiences with masterfully crafted stories and performances on stage.
From here on, all that's left is the show. I already memorized all the dialogue while I was writing the script, so there's no problem on my part.
She understands sorrow, and she can understand what it means for others to suffer, but she refuses to think anything beyond and what of it in response. I'm sure she's not like that merely to others, but herself as well.
All that's left is to see how well the rest of the group will perform. Well, the audience is there to see me mostly anyway, so that shouldn't be a problem.
She's incapable of connecting with anyone on a deeper level. After all, the role she's playing tends to change in an instant. She goes from a friend to a lover that's comfortable to be with. But she can become a total stranger the very next moment, an enemy at her leisure. And when you've finally wizened up to it all, you'll realize she's a con artist and you're her victim. She's just... I see. Well, that's great. Congratulations on finishing it.
Please look forward to it. I'm sure you won't be bored by it.
Then you won't have to lie to me anymore. The limited period we set until spring will finally come to an end.
Spring?
Everything will come to an end after the performance is over, right?
Don't worry. I'm sure that come spring, everything will return to the way they were. I figured I'd drag it out until the spring. You said something like that at some point earlier, didn't you? Is there something special about spring? Well, it was part of the schedule after all. I see. So it's already about time this got brought into the conversation.
This was always meant to be, no? That woman will abandon everything once her performance is over.
That woman will abandon everything once her performance is over.
Takio warned me about that many times already. Even though I always hold on to the slightest hope in my heart that things would be different every time he tells me that.
Do you really want things to end as soon as possible?
Aren't you the one who wants to put an end to all this, Chiaki?
I guess. You can finally make up with Ogaso-san now.
At least answer me directly.
So everything's gone according to Ogaso's plan in the end, huh? She's quite the tough woman.
Don't make stuff up.
I'm certain she has a side like that. She's definitely like that in my interpretation of her.
She wants to put an end to this, yet she's still toying with me?
No matter what happens, you will return to her side. So that's why she forgave me so easily. That's a bit irritating.
Enough. And I can't fall into her pace. I have to act jaded in front of her.
I've played many different roles up until now. From other people's characters, original characters, to modeled characters. I can grasp the feeling of all of them.
I have to do this in order to finally rid myself of my miserable feelings. It's all so I can finally sever what remains of my affections for her.
But I've never had to play a heroine such as Ogasa Setsuna, who's more or less impossible to empathize with.
I can only resent Izumi Chiaki and pity Senochi Akira.
This is my loss. In the end, I still couldn't become Ogaso Setsuna. I can understand her, but I couldn't be like her.
Naturally, you are neither capable of empathizing with her nor understanding her.
Well, I intend to play her to perfection nonetheless. It's not as easy as any other character that I've played before, but still, I think I can handle it.
This alien simply caught me and performed a human experiment on me. If that's the case, is it not the rule of Earth for the captive to have their memories of the past few days erased? It's impossible for an alien and a human to understand one another. Isn't that how it's being depicted in many old TV shows? That's why I really can't go and see her performance after all.
Is that so?
I think it'll be flimsy. I'll probably find it utterly ridiculous after watching it. That's why what I just said could have started a space war. Your imitation is too shallow. You don't understand anything about Setsuna. You were never capable of empathizing with her, much less understanding her.
Because even the man she's been seemingly so familiar with for 3 years still couldn't understand her?
If you play Setsuna like that, she'll probably laugh at you when she sees you, you know?
If that's the case, why don't you let me know how you see it, Haruki?
See? You couldn't understand at all.
Huh?
Setsuna would never mock others. That's why I said the Setsuna that you want to play isn't Setsuna at all. Even so, I won't lose to an alien like Chiaki, especially about things related to Setsuna, who's an earthling, just like myself. I don't know what it is that I'm saying right now, but I won't deny Setsuna, even if it means I have to let go of reason. Setsuna forgave us, but I think it's just because she's afraid.
Is that how you see it, Haruki?
I don't know if I'm correct or not, but I do believe my answer is closer to the truth compared to yours. And reason aside, I just don't want Chiaki to do this. She's afraid that these little misunderstandings would cause our relationship to fall apart. She's afraid that it might happen.
That's just what you want to believe.
I've shared the same experience Setsuna had, and that's why I feel that the same fear has been ingrained within me. I've been watching this the entire time. Even though I could see it the entire time, why didn't I realize it until now? You still don't understand? It's not something physical. It's a psychological fear of losing someone important. Setsuna and I are the same.
Nothing will come from simply running away and cowering in fear.
That's a line someone who's never lost anything would say. No, I suppose I should say someone who's never realized they've lost anything instead. In other words, the reason why you couldn't understand Setsuna is because that kind of feeling doesn't exist for you. That's what I believe. The closer our hearts are, the harder it is to express our true feelings. That's why it seems like Setsuna and I forgave each other, but when we came into contact, we could still feel the pain in our hearts.
That's quite passionate, Haruki.
Why would I say things like that? It's not like I was tricked into talking about it on the bed. On the contrary, she's actually attentively listening to me talking about my pain.
So, you really love her that much?
Have I ever denied that any time you've asked me up until now? Why am I still telling her this? Why would I tell this to someone who won't comfort me, accept me, and not even let me hold her anymore?
Is that so? I see. Congratulations, Haruki. You're finally willing to face it. You might actually make up with her after these 3 years.
Chiaki's applaud wasn't natural. She's abandoned her acting without knowing it, laying her spite bare with the gesture.
But is it really okay telling me things like this, Amen?
Aren't you the one who wants to hear about this, Chiaki?
Even if that's the case, you don't have to answer it, you know.
You aren't satisfied? At times like this, Chiaki, a malicious persona, seems just a little like an Earthling's. Which is why, if that's true, perhaps it's possible that I'll be able to understand her, even if only a little.
Well, I guess it can't be helped, because you didn't know about it yet, Haruki. But I am hiding an unbelievable trump card.
Yeah, I didn't know. I can't feel any regret until you show me either.
Fine, I'll show it.
I have no idea what her trump card is, though. Although, I do get this feeling something will drastically change when she shows it. Say it. I'll accept anything you throw at me. And I realized it as well. That the current me is hoping for that drastic change to happen. Did you get a checkup?
No,
Well then, why?
I felt like throwing up a lot recently.
Isn't that because you didn't get enough sleep from writing the script and practicing?
My period hasn't come since this year started.
Didn't you say this always happens before a performance? What with how your lifestyle becomes extremely unbalanced. I imagine that it's the same this time. Your body's forgotten that you're a woman.
But this time, my woman's intuition is telling me. Actually, it'd be more abnormal if I didn't get pregnant after doing it that many times.
If that's the case, then you should go to a hospital. Or you could buy a pregnancy test.
Nah, it's fine.
Why? If you're really pregnant, then the show might have to change a little. We have to find someone to replace you if you can't do it.
I said it's fine.
Princess.
I know about it already. You've already prepared someone to replace me. They've even started practicing already. Everyone's working very hard indeed.
As president, I believe that's the correct decision. After all, your condition hasn't been very reassuring ever since you started practice this time. Though, I never expected things to take such a turn.
Even so, I won't back off, not this time. The person who's going to stand on stage has to be me, even if I use up all my energy and collapse.
That's what I'm hoping for as well. And not the collapsing on stage part, of course.
Besides, if it's all a mistake, I can't use it as an excuse to bind him to me. It's probably for the best if things like this are left in the dark. I've become a woman, and I'll even be able to become a mother this time. Wouldn't this mean that my range of acting would only expand?
Chiaki is on top of me. It wasn't sudden, nor was she so forceful that I couldn't resist. I simply went along with it. In order for Chiaki to show her trump card.
I refuse.
Eh? Chiaki averted her gaze downward for a moment, and muttered something, and then used her lips to shut mine up. She forcefully works her way into my mouth, relentlessly entwining her tongue with mine. A massive amount of Chiaki's saliva flows down my throat, side note, ew, to the point where I feel like I could choke. Next, she loudly sucks on my lips, then scoops up the mixture of our saliva with her tongue, swallowing it with an audible gulp. During this time, I didn't do anything. I silently accepted Chiaki's sudden and passionate advances. But, as my lips did, my body remained still as well.
How is it, Haruki? Feels good, I bet.
Is this supposed to be your ace in the hole?
You can tell me you hate it all you want, but Your body's honest with me.
That's supposed to be a man's line.
I can play a man's role just fine.
But I can't play a woman's role.
You just need to be a man, Haruki.
Chiaki's lips press against mine again. Her tongue forces its way inside, and she violates the inside of my mouth, squirming her way across every bit with the sticky tip of her tongue. I didn't move at all. It wasn't just my tongue, but also my gums, the back of my chin, and the insides of my cheek. She licked every corner of it while letting out sweet moans. But
Why?
what?
Why aren't you sucking on me? Why aren't you reciprocating?
'Cause it doesn't feel good, obviously.
Oh, even though it felt good before? Even though your body should be really familiar with such a sensation by now?
If our bodies are connected while our hearts are not, it's nothing more than repetitive movement with its friction reduced by mucus. I don't see what's supposed to feel good about that. There's still a bit of our saliva trailing from the corner of my mouth, but I do my best to steel my senses. The sharp, sober remarks I mumble meant for both myself and her. Chiaki probably thinks I'm just being stubborn.
What are you saying, Haruki? Hasn't it been like this since the beginning?
Is that so? I've said something that I really didn't want to say, and I can only prepare for the inevitable response she'll have. Was everything you did then just an act? Can you say for certain that there wasn't even a hint of genuine emotion from you?
I can say that perfectly.
Even that irresponsible smile?
Here, shall I show it to you right now?
Even the warmth we shared?
If we hold each other naked, anyone would feel warm, right? It's for the better if we rubbed against one another a lot more, right?
Even your expression during that time?
It's about right for the first experience, right? It felt like it hurt a lot, but not to the extent that I'd cry.
Chiaki.
What? Are you going to cry again, Haruki?
Don't peer into my heart. My eyes are still unable to shed tears. But Chiaki's capable of peering into my heart just by looking at my expression. It's one of the skills she possesses after she's ad-libbed such situations many times until now.
Still, there's really no reason for you to feel shocked about any of this now, right?
Why?
After all, you're the one who said it and not anyone else, right, Haruki? You've said that everything I've done was nothing more than an act.
As I reject Chiaki's masquerade, the real Chiaki disapproves of my denial of her. As much as I hope it's a lie, if she's saying that it was all an act, then that's just how things were. If she's not putting on an act right now, it means that she was acting back then. This is an incomprehensible contradiction.
There's not a single emotion I can't show, and because of that, there's not a single person I can't deceive.
Chiaki's palm insistently strokes my cheek again.
You know that you can't help but feel drawn to me even after you know it's all an act.
Her wet eyes loom over me, heavy with desire as they reflect my miserable expression.
I'm particularly excellent at portraying the feelings of loving you, Haruki. After all, I've spent half a year constantly bound to that emotion, to the point where I've customized my heart to be able to portray it.
Supposing I had the same skills Chiaki possesses, would I be able to picture the spectacle of tears flowing out of her glistening eyes?
Which is why, Haruki, it's such a trivial matter whether my feelings are true or merely an act, isn't it?
But even if I could picture it, what would that even prove? I can't tell if Chiaki's tears are real or an act. No, I'm sure they are an act. That's why I just can't tell what's real.
Hey, make love to me.
She's already had her act figured out. So, why is Chiaki so insistent about shoving that reality into my face? Does this mean she's not doing this because she wants to seduce me? What is it that she really wants? What exactly is her supposed trump card? I've already told you that I won't get aroused by you anymore, haven't I?
Well then, how about I put you up to the test?
Chiaki! Chiaki's hands crawls towards my pants.
So, you said you won't get hard for me anymore, huh, Haruki? Well, let's see if you really show no reaction after I touch it, lick it, and put it in my mouth.
Her hands skillfully undo my belt and pull my zipper down.
In exchange, if you happen to get hard when I put you in my mouth, you lose. And as a penalty, I'll have you release everything inside my mouth, alright?
That's enough of... I resist her now. She'll realize that I've been putting up a front. Or rather, she will misunderstand that, leaving me with no other choice but to forcibly turn away. Stop it, Chiaki. You're performing on stage in 2 days.
It's exactly because I'll be performing on stage soon that I want to remember what you feel like, Haruki.
Why?
It's also that I can perfectly reenact Ogiso Setsuna, so that I can feel what she did when you made love to her.
That's just not possible.
Why?
I've never made love to Setsuna before.
Eh?
You won't be able to become Setsuna if I make love to you right now. Are you okay with that? This time, there's no doubt about it. Tears are spilling from the corners of my eyes. Because I regret it. Because I've just made an utterly miserable confession. Because I've revealed a secret I share exclusively with someone precious to me, to another person, yet again.
Not even once?
Don't make me repeat myself. Well, the very person for whom I've broken that bond of trust doesn't even think of me as someone precious to her even in the slightest. Regardless, Chiaki's hands suddenly stop moving. We're currently in an awkward, suggestive, and ridiculous position, but neither of us is capable of laughing about it right now. Her eyes are still locked on me, and I can imagine my downcast expression reflected in them. After all, I can't bring myself to make sure of that, however. After all, I can no longer look Chiaki directly in the eyes.
Wow, that sucks. What is that? Some sort of platonic love?
Just as I started to wonder how much longer this awkward situation would last, Chiaki suddenly moved away.
I guess I really couldn't get you hard, you limp dick.
Chiaki,
Just kidding. I guess it's my fault.
has she had enough? Did she give up? Or is there another reason? Chiaki reverts to her usual listless voice and expression, and slowly stands up. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I guess Chiaki still has feelings for Haruki. I think she's actually become the mask and fallen for Haruki. She may be a brilliant actress and scriptwriter, but things are a lot different in real life than on stage, no matter how realistically you write. Which is why I think Chiaki has been a lot more forward than she would write her characters.